Good morning. Here is your global news report for April 4, 2026. The international situation is currently unstable due to escalating military conflict between the United States and Iran, with reports of the Strait of Hormuz being blocked and a U.S. military aircraft being shot down over Iran. U.S. President Donald Trump maintains a hardline stance, while simultaneously sparking domestic and international controversy through personnel changes within his administration and demands for a massive defense budget. These geopolitical tensions are leading to supply anxieties and soaring prices in the energy market, causing widespread negative impacts on the global economy. The tensions between the United States and Iran have escalated into military conflict, with a U.S. F-15E fighter jet being shot down over Iran, and the Strait of Hormuz effectively coming under Iranian restrictions. U.S. President Donald Trump has made statements suggesting a return to the Stone Age for Iran and the destruction of bridges and power plants, while Europe maintains a cautious stance on intervention. U.S. President Donald Trump's administration is rife with controversy, including the dismissal of the Attorney General for reasons such as the handling of Jeffrey Epstein-related files and a perceived lack of enthusiasm for political prosecutions. He is requesting a record-breaking defense budget of $1.5 trillion for fiscal year 2027, while facing public backlash and low approval ratings domestically. The de facto blockade of the Strait of Hormuz by Iran is having a severe impact on the global energy market, causing sharp increases in crude oil, jet fuel, and gasoline prices worldwide. Attacks have also occurred at power and desalination plants and refineries in Kuwait, heightening concerns about energy supply instability and inflation. Next, here are the key stories from the U.S. The U.S. has lost an F-15 fighter jet due to the escalating conflict with Iran, and Iran's military capabilities are still assessed as a significant threat. Domestically, fuel price hikes have led to approximately a 10% increase in airfares, and concerns are rising about cybersecurity risks posed by advancements in AI. President Trump's policies are impacting the economy and his approval ratings. An American F-15 fighter jet was shot down over Iranian airspace, and one crew member was rescued. U.S. intelligence agencies assess that approximately half of Iran's missile launch sites and thousands of attack drones remain operational even after 5 weeks of airstrikes. Jet fuel prices have doubled in the past 2 months, leading to an approximate 10% increase in summer domestic airfares. Gasoline prices have also risen by more than $1 per gallon, undermining the credibility of President Trump's statements aimed at controlling oil prices. AI company Anthropic has warned that its developing AI model Mythos has the potential to exploit cybersecurity vulnerabilities at an unprecedented speed. OpenAI has also indicated that its next-generation models pose a high cybersecurity risk. Next, here are the key stories from Europe. While a prominent Italian museum confirmed a cyber attack but denied security breaches, the UK faces an urgent challenge in protecting large dog breeds due to the ban on XL bullies. Additionally, there are calls for extended maternity leave for teachers and discussions surrounding assisted suicide. Soaring food prices due to the Middle East conflict have also been reported. Italy's Uffizi Gallery in Florence confirmed a cyber attack but denied any breach of its security systems or damage to artworks. However, the Italian newspaper Corriere della Sera reported that hackers obtained sensitive information including access codes, internal maps, and CCTV locations, and demanded a ransom. The museum maintains that external system access is impossible. In the UK, animal welfare organisations like Woodside Animal Welfare Sanctuary in Plymouth are facing relentless pressure to shelter large dog breeds following the ban on XL bullies. Calls for cane corso dogs have surged, with 15 dogs on a waiting list. Furthermore, prosecutors in England and Wales are reviewing 13 suspected cases of assisted suicide. From April 1, 2009, to March 31 of this year, a total of 209 cases were referred by the police, with 6 prosecutions over the past 2 decades. The UK Teachers Union NASUT has urged the government to extend fully paid maternity leave for teachers to 26 weeks to prevent attrition among female teachers in their 30s. The government plans to double the current 4 weeks to 8 weeks by fiscal year 2027 to 28, but the union deems this insufficient. Moreover, rising energy and freight costs due to the Middle East conflict have contributed to a 2.4% increase in the food price index in March, with vegetable oils up 5% and sugar up 7%, according to a UN Food and Agriculture Organization report. Next, here are the key stories from the Middle East. The region is experiencing widespread conflict escalation, including Iran's downing of a U.S. military aircraft and attacks on neighboring countries, as well as Israel's destruction of medical infrastructure in southern Lebanon, leading to heightened international tensions. Iran shot down a U.S. military aircraft, and the United States attacked key bridges within Iran. A desalination plant and oil refinery in Kuwait were attacked, and in the UAE, 12 people were injured by fragments of interceptor missiles, indicating widespread clashes and reciprocal attacks. Israel continues to destroy medical infrastructure in southern Lebanon. According to the Lebanese Ministry of Public Health, 53 healthcare workers have died, 87 ambulances and medical facilities have been destroyed, and 5 hospitals have been closed. The Israeli military has advanced into the Ras al-Bayada region of Lebanon. The war between the United States and Israel against Iran poses a serious crisis for NATO. U.S. President Donald Trump has expressed dissatisfaction with European countries not dispatching naval forces to the Strait of Hormuz and is reportedly considering withdrawing from NATO. Next, here are the key stories from Russia. In Ulyanovsk, a train derailment injured 35 people, and major banks experienced system failures. An assassination plot was foiled in Moscow, and a military aircraft crashed in Crimea, among other incidents occurring within the country. A passenger train derailed in the Ulyanovsk region, injuring at least 35 people. Poor track conditions are believed to be the cause, and a criminal investigation has been launched. Major banks, including Russia's largest Sberbank, experienced temporary system failures, affecting customer payments and transfers. The FSB announced it had foiled an assassination plot targeting a high-ranking official in Moscow and neutralized an electric scooter bomb. Additionally, a Su-30 fighter jet crashed during training in annexed Crimea. Next, here are the key stories from China. China is embarking on campaigns for educational equity, expanding the digital yuan, and initiating the Skynet Operation 2026 for anti-corruption efforts. Hong Kong has become the world's 5th largest trading hub. The Chinese Ministry of Education has launched the 2026 special campaign to promote fair and transparent admissions selection in primary and secondary schools, emphasizing the enrollment opportunities for children of migrant workers in public schools. The People's Bank of China has added 12 new banks to its authorized institutions for digital yuan projects, signaling a policy to promote the stable development and widespread use of digital currency services. The Hong Kong government announced that in 2025, Hong Kong will rank 5th globally in merchandise trade, following mainland China, the United States, Germany, and the Netherlands, moving up 2 places from 2024. Next, here are the key stories from Japan. Amidst ongoing attention to the Middle East situation after a Japanese-related merchant vessel passed through the Strait of Hormuz for the first time, Shin-Etsu Chemical has begun operations at a new plant for AI semiconductor materials. Domestically, reports have emerged regarding a fire incident in Shibuya and a shortage of rental housing for families. The LNG carrier Sohar LNG, jointly owned by Mitsui O.S.K. Lines and an Omani company, became the first Japanese-related vessel to pass through the Strait of Hormuz following U.S. and Israeli attacks on Iran. This event is being closely monitored in relation to the Middle East situation. Shin-Etsu Chemical Industry has completed its first new domestic plant in 56 years, aiming to increase production of semiconductor materials essential for AI GPUs used by U.S. company NVIDIA. The company seeks to transition from a chemical stock to an AI stock. In Tokyo's Shibuya Scramble Crossing, a man poured liquid and set it on fire with a lighter. No injuries were reported. Approximately 20 minutes later, a man in his 50s turned himself in and admitted to the act. Next, here are the key stories from Asia-Oceania. In Thailand, influencers are facing questions about financial transparency related to border conflicts. India is approaching state assembly elections in West Bengal, with protests also occurring due to LPG shortages. New heatstroke prevention technology has been developed in Singapore, reflecting diverse political, social, and technological developments across various countries. Thai influencer Guntouch Gunponpe Bunwat has reportedly raised over 100 million baht by leveraging the Thai-Cambodian border conflict. Questions have been raised about the transparency and management of these funds, as well as activities that could incite animosity between the two countries. State Assembly elections in India's West Bengal will be held in 2 phases on April 23 and 29. The major parties, BJP and TMC, are engaged in a fierce electoral battle for the position of State Chief Minister. In Bengaluru, India, auto rickshaw drivers protested against LPG supply shortages attributed to the Middle East conflict, demanding normalization of supply by Monday. They have warned of surrounding the residence of the Minister of Food and Civil Supplies if their demands are not met. Next, here are the key stories from South America. Argentina has announced a policy of military buildup while asserting sovereignty over the Falkland Islands, Malvinas Islands. In Uruguay, a national admitted to conspiring to evade U.S. sanctions related to Venezuela, indicating key developments in politics, diplomacy, and domestic issues. Argentine President Milei has reaffirmed sovereignty over the Falkland Islands, Malvinas Islands, issued a diplomatic warning against British oil exploration, and announced that 10% of privatization revenue will be allocated to arms purchases for military reconstruction. A Uruguayan national admitted to conspiring to make an unauthorized transfer of approximately $99,500 to evade U.S. sanctions related to Venezuelan government officials in the United States. A judicial investigation has been launched into the theft of anesthetics from hospitals and their recreational use at Propofest following the death of an anesthesiologist in Buenos Aires, Argentina, due to an overdose of fentanyl and propofol. That concludes today's Global News Report. Have a great day. Thank you for watching.